Today is going to be a little change of pace in video. I just honestly simply couldn't find a topic I was interested in the past couple of days that I wanted to cover, because you have to be very selective with the topics you decide to cover on your channel, because it forms how your channel is, what type of audience watches your content, etc., etc. So what we'll be doing today is actually taking care of a comment I've seen pop up more than once. It's usually along the lines of like, you're a gun guy without a gun, you're a gun channel without guns. Basically, what the hell's going on? How do you fly under the banner of a gun channel, but there's no guns on it? And, you know, I thought everybody knew, but the short answer is I'm indicted right now. I cannot have firearms on this channel. Most certainly I can like roll in photos and talk about them, but that in itself has its own little thing to it. So for example, the last video I did that was firearm related was talking about the first focal plane versus second focal plane scope. It's this video right here. And because I had to go through old photos, pull up old footage, do a bunch of research on it, fact check myself on a whole bunch of different things to make sure I was putting out something quality and something educational, it kind of messed with me up here. So for the next couple of days after that video, I started dreaming about having my firearms back, and I'm not going to lie, that tripped me up. Like, that's hard when you wake up, like, with this overwhelming desire inside your body, and you're like, my God, if I just want them back. And so that's why I kind of avoid that. Like, when I first started putting videos out, like these ones right here, those were some of the hardest videos I did, because I had to put research into it. I had to look at ballistic data, do all the things I truly, truly enjoyed without actually getting to shoot the firearm. It's kind of like but without the release at the end. Just the build up, but then nothing happens. So that's basically where I'm at. I legally can't touch any right now, and when I do like videos, but I don't actually get to shoot them, it's tough. It really is, and it reminds me of what I'm missing. Now, is that big of a deal? No. I would go through any hardship right now to even have the possibility of guaranteeing my children a slightly better future. And this is probably all my fault anyway. Not that I actually did anything wrong, but when I found out I had cancer, you know, I believe in God, and I may have said, you know, I kind of wish I had done something more that had more of a positive effect on the world, more of a... I wish I had left a better mark, because at that point in time, I didn't know if I was going to die. It was attached to my colon wall, and they're like, you know, you need to accept the possibility this could be spreading through your body right now. And you could be dead very, very shortly. And that was one of the things. And see, I kind of made that same mistake too when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I basically asked to be surrounded by girls for the rest of my life. Now, as a kid, I had imagined like being an oil boy for like the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders or something to that effect. Well, I got answered and I got exactly what I wanted. It just wasn't how I had intended. So my girl had 2 daughters, and so yeah, I'm surrounded by girls for the rest of my life. Not what I want. Well, it was what I wanted, but it wasn't the exact idea I had envisioned in my head. Either which way, like when I ask for things, it happens. It always does. Every single time. So I had asked to do a more substantial, positive mark on the world before I went into the ground. And well, here I am. Because don't forget, this case has a trial date set now. So no matter what, it's public record. That can't be erased, regardless of the outcome of the trial. It doesn't matter what the outcome is. It's already in public record. That is like when the ATF decided that shoelaces could be a machine gun. They can't get rid of that, and it gets thrown in front of their face constantly. In my particular case, they changed the definition of a machine gun. The definition we all know and understand is solely and exclusively. Example. Exhibit A. This thing is a part I can drop into a firearm. The firearm will fire more than 1 round per single pull of the trigger, or continuously fire. That is called a drop-in auto-sear. Because it's a drop-in auto-sear and you don't need to modify the firearm In any way, shape, and form, you can put it in, you have a machine gun, you can take it out, you don't have a machine gun. That makes this individual part considered a machine gun. So what they changed the law to in my particular case is talking about the potential of. If you get rid of talking about, the potential of a machine gun is now a machine gun. And now the ATF will never be able to make that go away. That is forever on public record. Forever on public record, it will be known the ATF took a licensed machine gun manufacturer, somebody that can make real machine guns, like actual machine guns, to court, and we're trying him for the potential of a machine gun. Not a machine gun. Just talking about the potential of. So, regardless, they cut their own throat on this one. It's a win, no matter what happens in trial. Whether I'm acquitted, whether I'm found guilty, and then if I'm found guilty, like, that's also got ramifications on top of that, because now I can go against the NFA directly with the potential of, and that would be really hard for the Supreme Court to ignore. They could, but they're going to be like, the definition doesn't say anything about the potential. It either is or is not. Solely and exclusively is the clear language in that particular definition. So, no matter what, I got what I asked for. I'm not going to say it's not hard. I'm not going to say it doesn't suck. But that is the reason why I kind of avoid firearms videos, because they just pull me back down memory lane, and then I start dreaming about it, and then it just kind of messes me all up on the inside. So it's better if I just cover basically current events, the news, what's going on. And lately, like when I've been looking at news stories, honestly, none of them have been really noteworthy. There's some, obviously, but I look at it, I'm like, okay, so this particular story, one, can I cover it? Because there's just some that you can't. Like, it's just too, I guess, tinfoil hat territory. Yeah, it's real and it makes sense, but trying to explain it, you practically have to put on a tinfoil hat. And then there's the other side, like, is this really a gun-related issue? So what I like to stay around is ATF stories, because that's the kind of stories that directly go to my audience, because that's what they're here for, is firearms. If I can't cover firearms directly, I'll cover the news around firearms. And there just hasn't really been any story in the past week where I'm like, that needs to be covered. They'll come again. There's always dry spells when you're talking about the news. Now some channels, they'll just put out garbage, or basically reruns, cover the same story in a different way, which I do sometimes. I'm not going to say I don't, but I just prefer to run something new. So until something noteworthy happens, which it will, it always does, probably by tonight or tomorrow, then I'll wait to cover that particular story. Which if you guys ever find stories where you're like, dude, that needs to be covered, PM me on Instagram. Send me a link to the story. Like, that's awesome. I love when you guys find me stuff to cover. This is what my Instagram looks like right here. Or you can email it, but honestly, most of my emails, because I get so many of them, like, look at how many I haven't even opened. They automatically just throw them into a spam folder unless I've emailed you first. Some of them come through, some of them do. So if you send me an email and I don't reply, yeah, you should probably just go and, PM me on Instagram or even Facebook. That's a great place to submit stories to. Understand, though, I can't cover every single story. I have to sift through them and find ones that, are relatable. Typically, I like to cover more positive stories, like when we have wins. Yeah, covering losses and things that are bad, it just gets mentally exhausting, especially for the creator. So I tend to like to cover more positive things, but I do cover negative stuff, too, like things you have to watch out for, things like that. Wow, I kind of went way off in the weeds on this video. What was I even... Oh yeah, so that's basically why I don't have firearms on a firearms channel. That should be remedied. My court date is set for January 8th, I believe, 8th or 9th. It'll be about a month-long trial, so about the middle of February, we'll be back to normal and doing our normal thing. Anyway, if you'd like to help support the channel, got the Patreon right there. Also have affiliate links in the description down below. Just by clicking on those particular links, you can purchase what that particular link is for. Just clicking on it and doing the Amazon shopping you were already going to do anyway. It'll kick back for it because you came there off my channel. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.